All right, you maggots, listen up. Normally I wouldn't do this many videos about anything, but uh, these IF cans are really tough, and I sort of found what I call a breakthrough. Now, this is the first IF can, and I'm pointing from the front of the radio, and this up here, this capacitor up here at the top is an 820 picofarad. Down on the bottom, it's an 82 picofarad. Over here on the top, it's 27 picofarad, and down on the bottom is 47. Now, you could take these capacitors out. You gotta bend that tang back. You gotta unsolder the wires. You've got to slide the capacitor out, and what you'll get is a capacitor that looks like one of them stop signs or a stoplight, and you got to try to figure out what the value is. Or, like I've discovered, where take the numbers that are on the bottom of the IF can, okay, and transfer them up to the top. And in this case, this is 8765, and on the other side, it's 1234. Now, if you look at the schematic, you'll find out that the number 8 wire that comes up from the bottom goes up here. That goes to the, let me remember, a 27 picofarad capacitor. The number 7 connection comes up and goes over to the 820 picofarad capacitor. All right. See, this is what you can use to figure out what value goes where. See, you got the schematic, and in this case, it shows you 4 capacitors. But which one's which? Now you can narrow it down to this is the AM side of the IF, but in this case, it had 2 capacitors. So we know the tiny coil is going to have a big cap, like 820 picofarads, and the big coil is going to have a tiny cap, a smaller cap, which would be 27 picofarads. So little coil, big capacitor, 820, big coil, 82 picofarads. Now going over to the FM side, it's a little different. So you're looking at it and you're like, oh man, I'm lost, and you will be lost. Now, by putting the numbers from the bottom that are shown on the bottom of the IF can in the phenolic or Bakelite, whatever you want to call it, bring those numbers up to the top, and then if you get lost, look at the schematic, make sure this is IF1, the next one to your right hand side would be 2, and the one to the back would be 3. So you got to make sure you know what IF can you're on, and that second one has 5 capacitors on it. I'm not looking forward to doing that one, but you know, I'm 1 capacitor away from getting this one finished. And when I get it finished, I'm going to clean around it. I'm going to put the can on it just to protect it while I'm working on the other 2. But what slowed me down was ordering some of the capacitors. I had 6 different vendors I had to order them from. A lot of them show, like on eBay, you know, they show you the list of caps they got. Then you click on it, choose value, out of stock. So it took a while to order the caps just to do the IF. And of course, in some cases, I bought a 5 or 12. Sometimes you have to buy 10. Yeah, just the way it is. And I bought them, and I'm slowly working my way through. But I was really having trouble, and I was really getting nervous with trying to figure out which cap is which. I believe one of the, going across the IF can, the AM, one of the coils is upside down in the schematic compared to what it is physically. So if you learn the way this one is on the schematic, the other one's upside down, the way I saw it. But I said, I need to come up with another way to verify I got the right capacitors in the right places. And you know, by looking at IF1, you have a 820 picofarad, an 82 picofarad, a 27, and a 47 picofarad. They're all picofarad. And in those old days, it's MMF, microfarad, which is picofarad. I started saying stuff in hertz instead of cycles. And in this case, I'm jumping a little bit ahead. Some of you people might realize the old caps are microfarad, but the new name is picofarad. But knowing what the the numbers are and put them up here. That'll solve your problem. If you get lost, then all you have to do is look at what wire goes to the capacitor, and then you follow the wire up, and it'll help you. Did I put that right value in the right place? I had to do another video because I found a better way to do this. And man, I want to tell you. Oh, I have to tell you, the bottom capacitors have their leads through these holes, and what you have to do is first thing you do is you suck the solder off by the capacitor, and then after you do that, you can cut the wire that goes underneath. It was the capacitor's wire that goes down through the eyelet under the radio. Cut it off as close as you can to the capacitor without cutting your fine wire that goes to your coil. And you leave it on, and then maybe use a little piece of bus wire, wrap it around the wire that goes under the radio on the top, solder it, then wrap it around your capacitor, and then add your fine wire for the coil. It's up to you, but I've covered this pretty good. In other words, if you bring enough to the table, what I've shown you, you're going to be frustrated because those capacitors are waxy, and they close this tang down on the capacitor, and you pry the tang away, the cap can still be stuck in the frame because of the wax and the amount of surface. So you gotta take a real tiny screwdriver and go between the chassis of the IF and the capacitor, and get some air to get back in there and get it to come loose. But I've done several caps on several IF cans, and I kept waiting for the 47 picofarads to get here, and they were the first ones I ordered. But the guy, instead of shipping them on the Friday, he waited till Tuesday of the following week to ship me the capacitors, and they were the first ones I ordered because there's a lot of 47 picofarads in the IF cans. I think that's it. Hopefully this helps you, because this is hard, man. I've never seen anything this bad, and all those caps are bad with my cap checker. And using an ohm meter, they're ringing out some of them 100K. That's really leaky. I think that's it. All right, that's it.